Yo, what's going on, guys? So, Ziggy's early access has indeed hit today, and everyone wants to know how good is this new brawler, because you guys saw in the Brawl talk, okay, they showed footage of him being able to, well, actually, they didn't really show this in the footage, but sneak peeks from content creators were like, you can auto-aim with Ziggy and essentially hit the shot every single time. Like, it's just the delay is so short that you can actually just auto-aim and it'll hit from any range, because Ziggy's attack, it's like a thrower attack where you can shoot through walls, but it's not like a traditional thrower where it takes more time to lob over. It's the same time whether it's far away or right up close. And so the delay was too short. You could auto aim it on any brawler regardless of their movements. I think like hypercharged brawlers and very fast brawlers could maybe dodge it, but yeah, that was kind of broken, and so they did nerf it. They added a delay to Ziggy's attack, so I don't know if you can tell in this footage, but there is a longer delay than in the Brawl talk, and now it takes much longer to land your hits after you throw it out. So that's what's changed. But to compensate for that, you know, obviously that big nerf would definitely hurt Ziggy a lot. So they decided to buff his reload speed by a lot, so now you can get your attacks out much faster. It's now normal reload speed instead of the very slow that it was before. And they buffed his damage, so now it's, instead of doing 1600, it does 1760, and that also applies to this gadget, the electric shovel. So he does more damage, but it's harder to hit shots. And so now everyone's wondering, well, is Ziggy going to be broken? Is Ziggy still going to be busted? Should you spend all of your gems on buying Ziggy boxes? And the answer to that is obviously no. Actually, if you did want to pay to win to get Ziggy early, you can actually just go to storesupersale.com and buy the Ziggy offer. For me, it was like $15 USD. This is an option if you want to just buy it early. They decided to do both the early access like ticket thing, so free-to-play players can get it, and also add this in for paying players, so they don't have to spend like $30, $40 and try to gamble, because it's literally gambling, and that's not great. So yeah, shout outs to Supercell for that. I know some people are like weirded out about it, but I think it's fine, because for me personally, as a content creator who wants to like, you know, who needs to spend the money to get the brawler early, I would rather not spend $50 on an epic brawler. That is fucking cringe. So with that out of the way, I guess we should probably test out how good Ziggy is. And I did stream earlier today with Ziggy, playing him to 230 trophies, but I played with 1,000 trophy teammates, so got a good feel for how strong Ziggy is gonna be. And I'll talk more about it, but it's just for the short and simple, for anyone who just wants to see this right now, just like how strong is Ziggy, should I buy it? He's not broken, and he is definitely, I think time will tell if he's like strong or not, but I'm leaning on no, and that's mainly because, so let me just show you this. Yeah, even if his delay is nerfed, right, you might be thinking, well, it should still be strong. I mean, like, have you seen his super? Like, Ziggy's super with his attack, I mean, he's a thrower attack, like you can gadget spam and get a bunch of value. Like, this has to be good. And that would definitely be maybe true if he had any way to deal with aggro at all. And this is Ziggy's biggest Achilles heel. This is like his big, like, this brawler will probably just be shit in this meta at the very least, because on top of the delay making it harder to hit shots on people, like, he has less ways to defend himself than even Grom and Dynamite, in my opinion. Because at least Grom and Dynamite, they have supers that can like knock enemies back and stuff. Ziggy doesn't really have anything like that at all. His gadgets, Dynamite has stun too. Dynamite has fidget spinner. Grom has at least turret to know where enemies are and has really long range to kind of space easier. Ziggy doesn't really have that range. He doesn't really have any way to deal with anyone up close, and his shots are just as hard, if not harder to hit than Grom's and Dynamite's. So, or at least up close. So that is why Ziggy's probably not going to be very good in this meta, if any of the metas, because you can counterpick him so easily in ranked. Of course, does bring us to, well, even if he is counterable by assassins, can he at least maybe do something with this gadget? His first gadget calls on lightning at the nearest enemy. It's actually pretty good, and I'll show you maybe how good it might be later. But Ziggy's other gadget, Now You See Me, this one makes his next attack make him teleport. So how good is this gadget going to be? And I will show you really quick. So here we go. We're loading into this game right now, facing Edgar, and I have the teleport gadget activated or equipped. So let's see if we can maybe use this gadget to at least escape an assassin, if not kill them. And immediately, here we go. And there, I actually was able to escape there. But I also kind of, like, I did also see, like, he had his super and he didn't pop out of a bush like a lot of Edgars might do. The main thing that I kind of wanted to show you with this teleport gadget, it has a really low cooldown of 13 seconds. Both of Ziggy's gadgets have a pretty low cooldown, but the problem is just that it takes forever to activate that. You see, the Edgar almost just killed me just now. Fuck, I wasted my super. The Edgar almost just killed me just now, just from him getting on top of me. And the delay between him landing and me actually getting my teleport off, it's so long, it's actually really fucked. There I'm able to get away, because when they nerfed the delay, I think it also inadvertently ended up fucking this gadget over in particular really hard. Now, the fortunate thing is that this Edgar... I'm just dead. Yeah, the nice thing is like the Edgar isn't a brawler who can like usually shoot at you while you shoot at him. So if he doesn't have super, like maybe you can do something, but there again, it's just like he gets close, I die. There's nothing I can do, literally no escape tool. The escape tool that he does have, the teleport, is too slow. Like by the time he's landed, and if you count in reaction speed, and then you factor in me gadgeting and then shooting away from me, by the time all that happens, I'm already dead. Let alone the fact that by the time after I shoot, I have to wait then like a second and a half for the teleport to actually go off. This teleport gadget is just not that good, for an escape tool at least. But what about using it as an assassin tool? If you think about it, this gadget is kind of like having a Gray super. And Gray super, like Gray, it wouldn't really be an assassin, but because he has a teleport super, he kind of becomes one inadvertently with a teleport super. Does Ziggy at least work maybe as an assassin? All right, guys, so we're loading in this game right now versus Blab on the Barley. And I have the teleport gadget. I've also switched star powers. The second star power makes it so each subsequent attack that you land deals 20%, or I think it's 18% bonus damage. See if we can, and I switched it because obviously I'm not really using my supers here, so going this slow doesn't really matter. But you know, let alone the fucking subsequent attacks, you'll notice that the first attack, or even landing attacks at all against someone who has their eyes peeled, is actually pretty tough. Now, I do have my next attack buff, you can see, because my ammo bar is yellow. Have him pushed up against the wall here. And we actually kill him there, bang. So I am able to kill the Barley here. Is it because of the gadget teleporting? Bang. Okay, we teleport on him. And this is kind of the main thing that I was kind of trying to show you with the teleport gadget is it's really hard to hit brawlers up close and far away. When you teleport on someone, usually with Gray in particular, the reason why it helps Gray become an assassin is because Gray's shots are hard to hit at range because their projectile is slow and really thin. Kind of like me in bed, but when he teleports up close, you can at least still auto aim with Gray and hit your shots, right? That's one thing that is really nice in most brawlers is up close. Their shots are usually either easier to hit or like more consistent to land or whatever, or it does more damage. Up close is usually a dangerous spot for most brawlers because that's where they start doing the most damage. But in Ziggy's case, he's like I said, he's like Grom or Dynamite, where it's just not really the case where up close you do more damage. If anything, up close, I'm at a disadvantage because the Barley will be able to hit me instantly while I can't do the same for him. And then I'm just like, why'd I even teleport in to begin with? And it's not like, you know, Ziggy has 10,000 HP. He has only 5,600 without shield gear on. And with shield gear, it's still not really like he's becoming a tank or anything. He has Crow's HP, essentially, is what you gotta keep in mind. So this teleport gadget, in most of the cases, is probably not gonna be good. Now here, let me show you this super really quick. So that just absolutely shreds the Barley. And I think this super is like the one kind of saving grace that Ziggy has. And I'll show you more of this super in a second, but the super's effectiveness kind of depends on which star power you go. So this star power, the second one that makes your subsequent attacks deal 18% bonus damage, I think is the worst star power, like I said at the beginning of this video, because his first star power, where it slows enemies by 20% for 1 second every time they're hit by the Ziggy super, that I think is really, really strong because it kind of fixes the main problem with Ziggy, which is that his attack is really hard to hit. But if the enemies are slowed by 20% while they're in Ziggy super, then his attacks become way more consistent to land, and then you can actually maybe get some damage combined with this gadget right here, Electric Shuffle. The second gadget, Teleport, has a lot of issues for what I said before that I think it's just not as useful. This gadget is so strong because if you guys don't know what it does, it basically makes it so Ziggy auto aims lightning projectiles, 5 of them for the next 5 seconds, and it'll just go to the nearest brawler. If there's no brawlers in his vicinity, it'll still shoot at the nearest one, but I think it also goes like based on his movement joystick too. I think there's still people in my range actually, regardless of where I stand here. It's not the greatest example, but you know, you get the point. It's really, really strong because this gadget is going to allow you to basically force people to walk in a certain way to then line up your shots easier and to get more hits. And that again kind of solves Ziggy's big problem, which is that it's kind of hard to hit shots. So you do need to line people up. And this way, if you do it right, you can sometimes even deal double damage with all your attacks because the lightning strikes themselves do the same amount of damage as Ziggy's regular attack. Now, the lightning strikes, they do not charge Ziggy's super. So his regular attacks here will charge Ziggy's super. Lightning strikes will not. That is one thing to keep in mind. But the cool thing is that Ziggy's lightning strike gadget is in fact affected by damage gear. So you can see the damage gear does buff up Ziggy's lightning strikes to be 2024, which is probably the year that some of you were probably born watching this. So pretty cool. In my opinion, that actually makes the damage gear a really solid option on Ziggy. Shield also really good. I think reload gear, or not real gadget cooldown gear, is is okay, but Ziggy's gadgets are already such low cooldown that reducing it by 15% will only take off like maybe a second or two. It's all right. I think damage is just really nice to help you get a little bit more kill potential in your attacks, but gadget is by no means bad since this gadget is, like I said, really, really strong on Ziggy. So let's now take him into some games and trophies because we can't really play him in ranked. I was initially thinking about maybe doing some 1v1s to show you guys how strong Ziggy might be in, like, you know, the meta, but I think it doesn't really make sense to do like 1v1s with a thrower brawler, considering that the Ziggy's main role is just to like control the map, right? I'm just gonna play him in gem grab, brawl ball, knockout, hot zone. Kind of just should give you a taste of what it should be like. I'm not gonna play him in heist or bounty right now because unfortunately those modes aren't in rotation, but knockout is basically bounty, so you can probably get a sense for what it's like there. And then heist, dude, it's with Ziggy's damage, playing him in heist is kind of troll in my opinion. So yeah, let's use this build, which I think is the better one, and let's just jump right into it. First, starting off on gem grab, the OG game mode. I have a teammate at 1,000 trophies, so these games should be at 1,000 trophies too. Matchmaking is based on the highest trophy player on your team, so yeah. And then at 1,000 trophies, I think the matchmaking is technically, they might have done something to it to like make it so matchmaking is a little different now at above 1,000 trophies, but I'm not entirely sure. It might take into account only total trophies. I don't exactly know how it works myself, but you know, 1,000 trophy matchmaking, it's like, it's all like the same thing. So here I am going to be facing, keep in mind, players who have not played against Ziggy, so they don't really know how to dodge his shots is the thing. If you can get a sense for how to dodge Ziggy's shots, he's actually very easy to kind of play around. Should I super that? I think I want to. I'm very tempted. Let's go for it. Here I'm going to just super, and that should basically kind of just push them all out of there like an exterminator clearing out rats. And here I'm gonna gadget again. So on this map in particular, you'll notice, right, like Ziggy super, look at that, look how perfectly it covers this fucking middle choke point. Ziggy can be very oppressive to play against if you let Ziggy take control, especially these players. Like this Mortis doesn't really seem to know how to play against the Ziggy. He's like, because I think instinctually all players kind of are afraid to like get close to brawlers, because that's where brawlers can hit you the easiest, right? So like it just makes sense to kind of stay away in general to like play it safe. But in Ziggy's case, you actually want to run at him as much as possible. This Mortis can literally 3-shot me if he runs me down. It's just, I think spent the whole game being a little bit too passive and not really getting a super. Mortis has a great matchup into Ziggy. Literally every assassin has a great matchup into Ziggy. It's just in this case, they don't really know what they're doing. It's kind of that factor too, where I think Ziggy will be a very, very good noob stomper, if that makes sense, which is weird in Ziggy's case. He's not like Edgar, for example, where Edgar can have just, he can just jump in and get a really free team wipe where you just have to press 3 buttons and auto aim spam. In Ziggy's case, you can't really auto aim spam, and you have to kind of have good positioning and like know how to play this brawler well. But if you can, you'll definitely be able to fuck bad players over the most, because yeah, like Edgar just jumps, I just die. There's nothing I can do. Bad players will have the hardest time playing against Ziggy the most, which I think is not like, it's not really the greatest brawler design. Like you wouldn't really want a brawler, but it's like, it's hard to use and a noob stomper and doesn't really give you that much value. It's like, you know, I don't know. Your Edgar has hypercharge. I have to hope my teammates can handle that. Super here to try to just clear out this zone, and that'll help us take a lot of pressure here. Just wondering if I can kill this Kenji. Okay, we can. This gadget is kind of doing a lot. With the vision gear too, nice. We get the kill on the Kenji. Kenji definitely could have lived and or killed me if he was good at the game. Let me throw my super out here again, just like another press thing. And here you can see why I really like the slow star power a lot. Like once they get hit by it, it's a lot easier to hit shots on them, which is like really, really important. I hope that K super goes, oh my god, fuck. Okay, Ace is dead. Sandy has hyper. Let me back off. Kenji has super. The longer this game goes on, the more likely the Kenji's gonna have hypercharge and just kill us all. Okay. Kind of awkward. Yeah. And this is also where I'm noticing a little bit in this game too. You can kind of see like where Ziggy's range being kind of low is a real problem. Like I can't really actually trade with this Sandy. Unlike other throwers who have pretty decent range, Ziggy's range is pretty bad. So it's like, it's actually really hard to like land your shots on someone, not just because the delay on it is so slow, but because, you know, Ziggy's range is just not that good. Like this feels like a lot like with the delay playing a horse, like playing Barry or playing Dynamite. It doesn't feel like I'm playing a brawler with like good range at all. Super here. Hopefully the Edgar doesn't jump out with all the gems when he gets that kill. Oh my god, he jumped out with all the gems when he gets that kill. Oh my god. And yeah, that's kind of just classic Ziggy, you know. Just I cannot do anything to that Edgar. And okay, no, it looks like our K's. Okay, we do get the kill, but she can't get out because I don't have any wall break. But we can reset with the help of this bull, so Let me just kill this Sandy here. Cycled my super and kind of harass this Kenji with the slow and everything. And as long as my teammates hold down this mid and don't give it up, we can still... Guys, is this Blab's last game on my team? Here we have an Edgar walking in. Hypercharges. Goes for me for some reason. Okay, Blab, you're actually about to die again. There's no shot, Blab. Are you... So that's gem grab. Now, let's take him into Brawl Ball. I think you can kind of get a sense of like, listen, if you're facing against a team comp or players that don't really know what to do, it's a really free win. If you're playing against assassins or like a bad matchup or players who like kind of know what they're doing, it's really, really tough. It's really, really, really tough. Let's try him out in Brawl Ball though. I mean, you can probably get a sense just based on that. Like, you know, Brawl Ball, a lot of assassins are picked here, a lot of tanks are picked here. He doesn't have that much damage and doesn't have that much survivability against assassins. This is not really going to be his game mode. I think that kind of takes us now to like his niche, like in pro play. I don't think he really, like, I think he does he like, yeah, he counters stuff, I guess. Like, you know, you could say he maybe counters Jesse or Mr. P or like some controller brawlers. Like, he does pretty good into passive brawlers who like kind of play at range on maps where there's lots of walls. So you have to kind of have both of those things be true at the same time, which is like, you know, I mean, how often are you really going to face brawlers that only have those types of brawlers in their team comp? Not that often. You know, most of the time team comps are usually more balanced. Like, at least one of the enemy teammates have an assassin or a tank or some kind of wall break or some kind of brawler with more range than Ziggy. Ziggy doesn't really excel at anything, which is kind of like his main thing. Like, even as a control, like, I would, you know, in what situation would you rather go Ziggy over Finks, for example? I don't know if there is one. Or Ziggy over even just Barley or another thrower, right? With more range and more frequent supers and AoE denial. Ziggy is just kind of... He's just like not really the best at anything, which I think is kind of going to be his main issue in pro play. Of course, this is all preemptively. I'm saying all this because Ziggy is the newest brawler and he has not even fully released yet. He's still in his early access, so there's a good chance that they might rework this brawler, or even not rework, but like buff the brawler in some way. Because like Ziggy actually, his kit is really fun. I feel like, and his kit is really kind of creative and cool. Like, I like the idea of a brawler like this where you can like pick on the map where to drop a little lightning strike, and is like and with the gadget and the super and just like zoning enemies out. I think that's actually a really cool brawler design. I personally find Ziggy really fun to play. It's just the brawler is weak, and as he is now, he's not really going to be used in pro play for anything. I'm pretty sure he's not even really going to be banned probably. And Brawl, like, I literally only won this because I got carried. I don't need to play Brawl, and I think you guys get the idea. If anything, maybe his main niche might be in Hot Zone. People in my chat when I was on stream earlier were saying, like, okay, maybe Ziggy is potentially made for Hot Zone. I mean, I can just show you, I guess. Like, you know, even in Hot Zone, people are still going Kenji Hypercharge. Mina is one of the most broken brawlers in the game and is an assassin. Cordelius, Lily, Kit Hypercharge, Draco Hypercharge. Like, what is a Ziggy going to do against those brawlers? I'm not really sure. Now, the enemies also have a Ziggy too. Here he actually uses the gadget, so I guess maybe I can have some experience what it's like playing against the Ziggy for the first time. But yeah, it's like, I think once I get my super, I think it'll be easier to maybe make a play, but it's kind of hard to get with super at all. Like, there we go, I finally have one, finally, and then it just goes completely wide. It gets the Kenji a little bit here. Hopefully I can use that to maybe cycle, but if brawlers have mobility, the super, it's not like it just stays on the map in one spot forever like a loose super, right? Enemies can dodge it, and it's not just like a free kill necessarily, because it is kind of slow moving. I cannot hit this Kenji. There we go, I hit him. I have my super now. I'm gonna hover it just so enemies know. Oh fuck, the Ziggy's gonna touch me. He's actually using the damage star power, which I think is a mistake. Throw my super out here, see if we can catch the Kenji. He's gonna be slowed, which will help my Edgar catch up to him and kill him. Mina will kill my Edgar though. If we can get the pinch maybe with nice with the K's and my own gadget there. Nice. All right, we're somehow cooking this. Oh shit! Fuck, dude, the Ziggy got me. It's it's kind of hard to dodge Ziggy shots, though, I will say. Like, fuck, man, the reticle is so hard to see. Oh shit! Oh shit! Yeah, the Kenji should be dead to my super there, which is nice. Dave's Fanstorm also is kind of clearing the point a little bit. We have a lead, albeit small. I think it's because the Edgar has a nice matchup than the Kenji, I'm not gonna lie. And the Case is also doing her job. After that gem grab disaster class. Edgar goes in here. Mina Tornado. Nice. Alright, we cap off the point. Yeah, the other thing to note, like, enemy Ziggy and me, both of us were not standing on the point at all. Like, that's kind of also something to keep in mind, is Ziggy's a controller, but he's also kind of a thrower. And throwers on hot zone are always a little bit risky because, like I said, there's a lot of assassins and stuff, and most of the time you're not going to be able to spend your time on the zone actually capturing the objective because throwers don't have the most HP. And the ones that can, like, for example, Barley. Barley has healing in his star power and his gadget, or you can go this if he's facing aggro brawlers and still kill assassins and tanks. And his shots are easier to hit up close, so it's like Barley has some ways to defend himself at the very least. Same thing with Barry, right? Barry has that knockback gadget and his super is a dash that helps him escape places, and he has healing too. He has health healing, so Barry's another great choice for hot zone. You also have Larry and Larry, who has a dash on his gadget and a heal too. He has a pet that spawns that helps him kill tanks and aggro brawlers. Larry also has a lot more damage on his basic attack, and I think he actually has more range. And again, his attacks like Barley's are easier to hit up close. Same thing again with Juju. Similar situation with Larry. Every brawler that you would go on hot zone that's like a thrower and a controller generally has some ways to deal with tanks and assassins because those are the main brawlers that you see on hot zone, like Finks. But Ziggy, you just don't really see that in his kit. Like, he just doesn't have any real way to deal with aggros and tanks himself. He kind of needs someone else to do the job for him. So in essence, picking Ziggy on hot zone is actually worse than picking Tick, because even Tick has a shield gadget and has his super to like knock back enemies and has his head and stuff, and his shots also linger longer on the point. Ziggy is more of the equivalent of going, in my opinion, like Dynamite, or even maybe not even Dynamite, maybe going Grom, and his like super and his attacks are easier to hit than Ziggy's, and he has more range. So like I said, it's kind of like, well, what is the niche that Ziggy's really filling? I don't really know. For this last, I guess, game mode, let's try him out in Knockout. And I think this is where maybe we can start talking about what they could do to buff Ziggy to make him a little bit better, because I really like Ziggy's design and I really like how he plays. He feels really fun. Having a brawler that basically entirely relies on manual aim because the shot delay makes auto aim useless is actually really cool. I like that. I think this is really fun, just like pinpoint where to place attacks and stuff. The problem is that because Ziggy doesn't really fulfill a niche, because his stats are all kind of just whatever, there's just no reason to really play him over anything else. Then what they could do then to help fix Ziggy is they could take him in maybe 3 directions. One is to maybe buff his range. And I think that would actually make Ziggy kind of have a role where it's like, if, like, maybe not a global range, but if he had a really long range, then I think Ziggy could be like really cool to play as, like, you know, like a long range, almost a sniper, but it's like he summons stuff from the sky, and it's I think that'd be kind of cool. Maybe a little bit broken. Maybe then they would need to nerf reload speed or damage or something. But like, if he had more range, you would at least have like a niche of, like, you know, you have a brawler that you can kind of pick on open maps, but is also kind of a thrower at the same time. It's kind of like what Tick's niche would be, but in Ziggy's case is easier to dive than Tick, so it's like different. And you would also be like a very different playstyle, obviously, with this super. It'd be fun. I think it'd be really fun. The other alternative maybe would be to like just buff up his damage a lot. So kind of go like the Finks route, I guess, or not Finks. Is it Finks? I don't know. Just like basically make him actually have some way to deal with aggro brawlers and just, you know, just have more reward for the shots that you can hit, even though he has really short range. That could be an alternative too. Then maybe you would actually see him as not like a tank counter, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd actually be able to pack a punch on hot zone where he would probably be picked the most. And that's also an option. And then I think the last option would probably be to buff his HP. And you could make him essentially like a weird tank. I feel like has some potential there, because the main issue with this teleport gadget too, I gotta say, is that the delay on it, by the time someone dives on you and like you get your gadget off and you teleport somewhere, you're actually already either half dead or mostly dead or entirely dead. The gadget just takes too long to activate in relative to how much HP Ziggy has. If Ziggy had like 10,000 HP, maybe 10,000 is pushing it, but like if he had more HP, then the teleport gadget might actually be more helpful in like as an escape tool, although you would still probably use this gadget that I'm using right now like vast majority of the time. Nice, we take out the Gus there. Yeah, I don't know, I just think it could be funny like as a hot zone pick to have a tank thrower. We've never had a tank thrower before, you know what I mean? Like, that could be kind of cool. it's just, you know, it's just throwing out ideas there. Here, let's see. Okay, they teleport out. But yeah, it's like, you know, ultimately whatever path they decide to go with the Ziggy and like how they decide to buff this brawler, because I think he does deserve a buff. He's not like the best ever. Is wow, this K's, look at, did you see my gadget there? Just like totally cooked that K's. It's just I think just a buff to one of the 3 stats, depending on what kind of niche they want Ziggy to fill. You know, anything would be greatly appreciated for Ziggy, because right now I think he's gonna be pretty weak in the meta. I think my teammates don't die to this case, and I can kind of walk up and get a nice angle for this super. There we go. That Gus should just be dead. Okay, I wasted my super, but I did force the Gus to walk in a direction, and now they're all dead. So yeah, you know, I say all this stuff about how Ziggy's like not that good, but I'm actually cooking them right now. Maybe does Ziggy actually deserve a buff? That is the other thing that's possibly true about Ziggy. Like, guys, this is the very first day that Ziggy came out. I'm still getting used to this brawler. Actually, you know what? Let's play a game in Brawl Arena. Fuck it. I'm still getting used to this brawler and, you know, learning how he plays. And then enemies are also all learning for the first time how to play against the Ziggy. You have to really keep your eyes out on the floor where your brawler is to see the circle, because by the time you've seen it, if you look at it too late, you're probably already hit by it. But like, as enemies get used to playing against Ziggy, he could get worse. But as people get used to playing Ziggy themselves and learning how the Ziggy works, there's a chance that Ziggy might even get better. It could be like a Finks or a Trunk situation where people kind of shit on the brawler because, you know, they're just like, they don't realize that it's actually kind of balanced. And then once they learn how to play Ziggy, maybe he actually becomes really good and has like a really, really strong, viable niche that people are just kind of figuring out. This Chester is cooked. But I don't know, everything tells me, just based on how the meta is right now and what this brawler is, like, there's too much aggro. If I have to face a Mortis with super, or a K's, or Edgar jump, or Lily, or a Cord, or a Kit, it's over. Like, or Ollie, there is nothing that Ziggy can do to defend himself. It really is as if, it feels like a new Grom. It just feels like a Grom. And I mean, you just, no matter how good you are at the game, you're not going to pick Grom at high level, because that's just stupid. Obviously, people are going to know how to dodge Grom shots. Well, I caught 2 people there. Let me see if I can throw this. It's probably not going to hit anybody, let's be honest. Oh, and I'm dead. That sucks. But yeah, people know how to dodge Grom shots. People aren't going to get hit by Grom. People are going to basically fuck you. And in Ziggy's case, not only can you have the option of just dodging his attacks, but you also have the option of outranging him. So, you know, and even if you don't outrange him, like up close or far away, both counter Ziggy. So it's like, well, when are you going to pick this brawler? At mid-range? Well, why not just go a different mid-range brawler that like also just one-shots? Like, I don't know. So yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts on Ziggy. I think he's really, really fun, but probably too weak right now. And Supercell does need to be kind of careful with Ziggy, because Ziggy is one of those brawlers where like tweaking any one little stat could make him very broken, as we saw with the auto aim thing, where like his shot delay was too short. With his range, if they buffed it by a little bit, it's a chance he could just become obscenely broken. I'm dead to this Terra again. Love to see it. Oh, actually, I could have killed her if I hit every shot. Fuck. God damn it. You know, keep in mind, guys, if you ever see me missing shots on Ziggy, there's a chance, like, listen, nobody hits every shot. Like, that's just kind of, you have to factor that into the brawler's strength. Catch out the Chester here. Oh, and there's a Surge. I wonder if I can, oh, and the Surge is here. And I live because he's auto-aiming. Let's go. I think our team comp is pretty ass. Kaze is not really that good in Brawl Arena. That's a Chester hypercharge. Alright, brother. Are we serious right now? Should you unlock Ziggy? I'm sure some of you might be wondering, should you... He's a mythic brawler, so he costs 1900 credits when he hits Star Road in 20 days. For whatever reason, they decided to do that. I don't know why. He doesn't become available in Star Road, like, right after the early access ends in 10 days, but, you know, Supercell be doing Supercell things. So there's Super out here. Let me pick... Hold on, just... I probably wouldn't get him early access, in my opinion. I don't think any brawler is really worth early access. Like, if we're being honest, guys, if you can get it free to play from the challenge, then go for it. That's good for you, but I would not spend gems on this. Or like spend real money even to get it early. Like, it's, you know, it's not like a must pick or like must play like Mina is in a lot of ranked situations. So you can definitely wait on this brawler. If you think the brawler looks cool or seems fun, like, I mean, I'm not going to stop you from spending your money how you want. Like, if you want to get the early access, go for it, man. I'm not going to shame you for playing early access. Like, I bought the early access myself. And I'm here to make videos out of it, but you know, it's like, hey, listen, I think Ziggy's fun. If I had infinite money to spend, I would probably consider getting the early access for Ziggy too, because I think this brawler is actually pretty cool. But it's definitely not like a value choice, and it's not gonna help you win games. Okay, if they left Ziggy as he is right now and left him alone, he would probably settle around like C tier or maybe B tier, but probably C tier. And It would just be one of those things for people to go when they want to main a brawler who is not that great, just so they can say that they main an underrated brawler or something, or like an underused brawler. So yeah, that's in a nutshell Ziggy. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Maybe I'll make a follow-up video another time. When Ziggy hits ranked, I mean, I'll definitely play him, but I don't think he'll be good. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Thanks to Blab for playing with me. I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care, love you, peace.
Bye bye.